Good morning, everyone. I'm in my ring of sunshine today because we are dealing with Malibu Haircare, and I'm so excited to bring you this new, not new brand, a brand that is near and dear to my heart for years. So Malibu has been around since 1985, created by a husband and wife team, Tom and Deb Porter, who live in Malibu. Have since moved their operations to Indiana, and we have their global educator here with us. But if you think about, Malibu has been around since 1985, and they are an indie company, but they have been thinking since way back then to be 100% vegan, 100% cruelty-free. They have vitamin-infused beauty formulations with vitamins, phytonutrients, and key botanicals. Plus, they are very committed to the planet with fully biodegradable bottles. And their formulations are all based around vitamin C. So that is hence their name, Malibu C. So I'm really excited for you guys to learn about this brand. If you don't know about Malibu, it's really different than any other brand that we've kind of brought to you, other than the fact that it is vegan, which is near and dear to my heart, cruelty-free, and a cool indie brand. They really divide their shampoos up into different types of categories than other companies, and I'm excited to learn why. I have so many questions for our educator. So I'll introduce you to her in just a moment. I just want to say hi to everybody joining us. When you join, please let us know where you're joining from, because I'm a pilot and I love travel and I love geography and knowing where people are at. So it thrills me when I hear somebody's joining us from overseas or across our country. So let us know where you're coming from. If you have any questions throughout the way, Allison is here with me on questions, and she'll pull it up for me, and we will get that answered from our global educator. And then Tobin will be helping us with the graphics. So you know this is a brand that I am so interested and committed to, because these are my notes. Like literally, I usually have a note card here. I have pages of stuff that I want to tell you about this brand and I want to cover. So without further delay, I would like to introduce you to the global educator for Malibu C. She is a hairstylist of many years. She's an American board certified hair colorist, and she's also certified in hair loss from the U.S. Trichology Institute, and very cool educated hairdresser that I'm so excited for you to meet. Welcome, Ms C Peterson, to You Have Beauty Care Choices. Hi, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be able to nerd out with you today.
We are the chemistry we learned on our call where we introduced each other. We're kind of chemistry nerds. We're ingredient nerds, and rarely do I meet someone that's kind of more of a nerd than me, and you might be her, Missy. And I love it. I just absolutely love it. How's Indiana this morning? Indianapolis.
Yeah, Indianapolis. So it's great. It's quiet. We've got great weather. So looking forward to a great weekend, and staying busy around Malibu C. I mean, as you know, we started manufacturing hand sanitizer. So things have just been trucking right along for us.
Right. Thanks for jumping on that task. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of something new for all of us, but I love that the beauty industry really jumped all over that, and we had it covered. So good job.
Yeah, we so did. Well, it goes in line with our mission statement. So at Malibu C, our mission is to solve problems globally. So being that we're one of the few manufacturers that make our own product, we were actually able to shift production and really make sure that we could get everybody covered, especially the first responders and then the hairstylists.
So tell us about that in Indianapolis. So the brand, Tom and Deb Porter, who created the brand, do live in Malibu, and it kind of, that's where the beachy vibe comes from. And back in the day, obviously, I grew up kind of down in Southern California, so I know the health conscious vibe in Malibu of great blonde and beautiful doughy skin. So Malibu is a hair care brand and a skincare brand, but how did we connect then to Indianapolis? And tell us all about your amazing facility there.
Okay, so Tom and Deb actually met at a college here in Indiana. So their first date was actually listening to the chemist that they ended up working with for years. So even though they're in California and stayed in California, they're definitely California people. They love it out there. Being from Indiana and being where it is the most reasonable, we're a global company. So to be able to ship from Indianapolis is so much more effective than trying to ship from the West Coast.
Yeah, a little more central.
Yeah. So and definitely for our education too, being, at least for me, being in the Eastern time zone, it's easier for me to accommodate multiple people with what they're looking for education. So about our facilities, I happen to luck out. I'm from Indianapolis, and long story short, I asked my sales rep after I became board certified, who should I teach for? And he said, Malibu C. And I'm like, I just got certified in color. I specialize in color. Why would I teach for Malibu C? And he goes, Missy, just go to a class. Just go to a class and then come back. And the rest is history. So I ended up being lucky enough to be 20 minutes from the facility. So everything is here in Indianapolis, from our customer service to our chemists to the production, the shipping. I mean, everything is here. And we also have a 10,000 square foot education facility. So Tom and Deb are very, very grounded in education. So it was a really great match to be able to nerd out and work with Tom a lot, and then the chemist as well. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm an education nerd. We talked that. So that's why we created this show is I wasn't sure how many people were nerds like this. How many people were that concerned about the ingredients and knowing where their products are made, who created their products, what's the background history. And it's really cool that there are that many people like us that are interested in the actual education, and not just hairdressers. Right. Consumers as well are asking really intelligent and sophisticated questions about their brands that they're using on their body, because we're all realizing the effects that ingredients have on all of us. So everything. Yeah. Let's welcome Christian, Joe, Michelle, David, Karen, Celine. Thank you all for joining us. Let us know where you're coming in from, anybody who joins us. And so we talked about back in 1985, he had the vision of vegan and cruelty-free. Let's talk about the other attributes of the line so people know that it kind of relates to them. It's gluten-free, it's cruelty-free, it's organic, it's paraben-free, sulfate-free, vegan. But the one really big thing that kind of sets him aside is he really focused on what's water got to do with everything. So why does everybody who showers in water need Malibu?
So that's a great question. Usually when we get asked, how do I know that I need a Malibu? That's my response. Do you use water? Because if you do, you've got minerals going on that's going to build up on your hair, skin, and scalp. So going all the way back to the beginning, Malibu C did not start as vegan. Okay. And Tom, it was very, very important to Tom and Deb to transition to that. So a lot of our formulas had to change because that, and I don't know that a lot of people understand that when a company chooses to be a vegan company, that's not something you can just slap a label on. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of regulations that go with that. So I was really impressed with the company itself that, all of these things were important. The gluten-free, the paraben-free, basically Malibu's free of everything that consumers are looking to be free of. So with, it's just easier to say what we do have versus what we don't have because it is so important. But I think
vitamins, phytonutrients, and key botanicals. That's what I learned this morning. That's what's in Malibu, right?
Yes. So we're sulfate surfactant free. So you guys aren't going to have any harsh sulfates going on. But the most important ingredient is the vitamin C, the dry vitamin C technology.
And that's what you have a patent on.
Yeah. So when we talk, because people ask all the time, can we get it in a bigger tub? Why doesn't it come activated? So a couple answers to that. One, we pay attention to our water footprint. We don't want to charge you to ship water. Two, vitamin C is not stable in a liquid form. So if we were to activate the vitamin C here, by the time it went through production and shipping and got to the consumer, it would just be sugar. So it's kind of on the same concept as food. Fresh is always better. So when you open the package, you know you're getting freshly activated vitamin C.
Amazing. So we're combining the two thought processes that kind of really incorporate or encapsulate the whole Malibu philosophy is what's water got to do with it and vitamin C. And the dry, pure forms of vitamin C are going to be throughout. We're going to be talking about that throughout many of the different products in the brand.
Yeah, so total oxidation management is the legacy of Malibu C, of Tom and Deb. And what that means is managing oxidation. And when I say oxidation, that's where your wrinkles come from. That's why your hair color fades. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we do. And in the beauty industry, we get paid to oxidize in almost everything we do. So looking at water, water is an oxidizer. Everybody uses water. So it just depends on where your water comes from, on what your issue is. But everybody is going to have some sort of issue. So that's why we have a lot of different sachets actually too. So we can make sure that we're solving a specific problem for a specific person.
And that's kind of an interesting thought when you think everyone's water is somewhat different. Because in different areas, either if it's on city water, they could be adding chlorines or different minerals to the water as preservatives. If you're on a well or you live in an old house, these minerals in the water can break down your plumbing, and that's where you can get those orange tints from your copper pipes. And so all of the people, if you're wondering, how did this apply to me? These are the things that they say. If you've experienced color fading, poor gray coverage, brassy blondes, muddy, ashy hair color hues, your highlights just disappear after a week or two when you get home, or your hair just lacks bounce and movement, you might have minerals built up on your hair.
Yeah, absolutely. And what really got me sitting through the class, because I am a chemistry nerd. I'm one of those stylists, because you know stylists are never wrong. Right. We're marginally misinformed, but we're never wrong.
That's probably why I didn't last long, because I'm always wrong.
I was saying that. I was like, okay, so I was using a product that said it clarified and chelated at the same time. So when I'm sitting in the Malibu class and I'm hearing all this stuff, I teach a lot in analogies, because that's how it made sense to me, and that's how my clients were able to really connect. And when it was broken down to me, go home and look at your shower. And I'm in Indiana, so we have a lot of calcium, a lot of lime. Calcium and magnesium go hand in hand. So my shower door gets cloudy. And the instructor said, clean your shower door with your clarifying shampoo. And it didn't work. So I'm like, okay. And as I start thinking about this, I'm like, you guys, that's the same mineral that's building up in your hair. Would you use what you clean your shower with on your client's head? The answer is no, absolutely not. But could you use Malibu C to clean the door? Absolutely. That's actually what I use in my Keurig, my washing machine, my dishwasher, because mineral, anytime water's involved.
Wow, that's interesting. So yeah, if the clarifying shampoo isn't cleaning it off your shower door, it's not going to clean it off your hair also when you want to prep the hair.
Right.
So often I was talking about that. So I did a color or a water test this morning on your website. It's a very cool little feature, but you enter your zip code and it tells you kind of how the water is in your area. So what an incredible database that you're providing for us. So in our area here in Northern California, Redding specifically, we have hard water. It's at a 7.4 pH. We do have chlorine, and we have a ton of people in the area that are also on wells. So the city water is adding chlorines and stuff like that. It is a more harder water, but then the well water also has a lot of minerals from the ground. Wells are kind of the hardest water in some ways. So those people definitely could use Malibu C products.
Oh yeah. I always knew that well water had an impact on hair and skin, but I didn't understand the true impact until I moved to a house with a well. That struggle's real. So
The
when you're
water
dealing
tastes
with
so yummy, but
Tom likes to say minerals are great and they're necessary inside the body, not so much outside the body.
right.
So looking at it from that perspective, I mean, if you've got well water, typically your hair brasses out, especially if you're a blonde.
Mm-hmm.
If you have city water, your color is usually hard to keep vibrant and even because it's in chlorine.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the people that say, well, I don't need to do anything because I have a water softener. So then it becomes, well, what do you put in your water softener? Salt. So basically but you buy a sulfate-free shampoo. So yeah, helping people understand that it's not one type of water is worse than another. Water is water is water, and we all use it.
And it's so amazing to think, because I was a hairdresser behind the chair for so long, and I tried so many different ways, either super resistant gray or hair color fading, and you think, what is happening? What are these people doing at home, and why can't I solve this challenge with these, clarifying shampoos and stuff like that? And I never, and we talk about pollutants in the air, and we talk about medications and different things that go on in our bodies, which can have an effect. But right. The most basic element that we're all in every day is water.
Yeah. And it's one thing that they don't teach, especially in beauty school, like the chemistry of water. So yeah, when I went through the Malibu class, I was mad after the class. I'm like, I've been doing hair for over 10 years. I've specialized, the amount of money I've spent on education. And if I would have known this information about water, oh my gosh, what I could have done, way sooner. And my mom is a stylist too. She's been doing hair longer than I've been alive. And so having conversations with her about the things that she struggled with when she was behind the chair versus what we're able to navigate now, it's a very different conversation. So it amazes me what stylists are able to do when they actually know what's going on.
So teach us just a small, a quick little overview of the pH of your water and what the effects on the hair is. If your water is really a high pH versus what we're trying to attain, and what happens to the cuticle with a high pH.
Okay, so anytime you're looking at pH, you want to sit in the neutral zone. And so even areas that have a high pH, and when I say a high pH, anything above 7.5 could be considered high.
So pH is on a 1 to 10 level?
1 to 14.
1 to 14. And so the mid zones are right in the 6, 7s?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. 7.5 is considered basically neutral.
Okay.
So when you get to the point where you have a high pH, that is going to shift the cuticle. It's going to swell the hair shaft. And something that I like to teach to clients as well as stylists is the cuticle on the hair shaft is not like a mini blind. It doesn't do this. It does open, it does close, but not as quickly as people think. Right. So if you've got water that has a pH on the higher side, then that's going to keep the cuticle more swollen. Your color is not going to stay in as long. On the flip side, if you have really, the pH of the water is really low, that's going to keep the cuticle compacted, which is going to make it more difficult to get artificial color in there. So trying to really stay in that balance, that helps you at home, but it helps the stylist behind the chair too. And I think with travel, I mean, you said you love to travel. I travel a lot. And the first time I realized I can't take the same products to California that I take to New York. Like the water is so different that my hair reacts. My husband makes fun of me. When he goes into a hotel, he checks to see if there's bed bugs. When I go into a hotel, I look at the ring around the shower because I want to know, what is that going to do to my hair? But I always travel with Malibu, so I'm covered.
You've got the protection. But that was a great analogy. So a higher pH, then you're going to have probably more trouble with color fading. And so as your cuticle opens in a higher pH, that's how we get those color molecules in, and then we kind of seal it back down. But when you go in the shower and the high pH water opens the cuticle back up, it just allows those hair color molecules to kind of fade away. And that's where you're getting your fadage. And then also the reverse. That was such a great analogy. I get it.
Well,
I understand.
Helping them understand. Well, too, I use a garden analogy a lot when I'm talking color, because the problem isn't necessarily just the water fading the color out. The problem is if the stylist doesn't know to take minerals out of the hair, the color is not going to deposit where it needs to go. So it is going to fade faster, because it's kind of like a garden. You're going to take the rocks out of your garden before you plant the flowers.
Right.
Same concept with the hair. Take the rocks out of the way so the color can go deeper. So, I mean, that has a lot to do with your blondes too. Why people have a hard time lifting. It's because there's not enough energy in the developer to break through a rock wall. So when you look at every category of hair and skin, not just hair, the issues that you have, 9 times out of 10 are going to be because of the water. It's not, and you know as well as I do, stylists will say, well, the manufacturer changed the formula. They changed the color. I promise you on all that's holy, it takes about a year to get a new formula out if you do it in a plan. So if somebody's hair is changing color and it's a formula you've used all along, you need to start asking, did you move? Have you traveled? Have you been in a hot tub? Like all of those things that we take for granted, that comes into play with your hair.
I love the rock analogy too, because rocks are minerals. So that just makes so much sense. When you're trying to break down that mineral buildup on your hair, you really are trying to break down rock. What a great visual. So that kind of brings us to our fun treatments. I want to jump into our products. Let's see this whole beautiful line of treatments. These are the coolest thing that make Malibu so unique. If you think about waterless products, so we're paying money to ship water around the country by having all of this water in it. And it is the water usually combining with these dry ingredients that creates the activation of the product. So since they're all vitamin C based of this dry vitamin C, it makes sense that you want to activate it fresh in the shower and mix it together. So let's talk about, so over on my side, we're going to start with the bright pink, and that's your quick fix. Overnight, in the last 2 months, when salons and everything closed down, this became like our #1 bestseller. Why? How did people go, I need this product? What are they trying to achieve?
So quick fix, that literally is a hero product. It does exactly what it says it's going to do. It's a quick fix. So if you, for your hair, for instance, if you decided to use a heavily pigmented shampoo and you want to get that right back out, quick fix is going to be what you want to do. So
we've had that question a lot. People wanted to, and then they got called back to work too fast.
Or going back to school, or quick fix comes into play. It was one of those things that just stayed at my back bar. So if your toner grabbed too much, if you're doing box color and you overlapped and you have that line, it'll help kind of blend that out, but it's not strong enough to take the color all the way out. It's going to buffer.
So and what is the active ingredient? How is this working?
So what happens is all of them are vitamin C based. They all have the same vitamin C. When you're looking at your products that have vitamin C, pay attention to what type. We use ascorbic acid, which is the purest form of vitamin C, and again, dry activated, so you know that it's going to be fresh. So what happens is when you're using water, that's an oxidizer. When you're using anything with vitamin C, that's an antioxidant. Okay. So it's stopping the chemical action that's happening.
Okay.
With colors, especially that peroxide that's in there, that stays active for 2 days after you apply it to the hair. So a lot of times that's the reason the color continually goes darker, because the chemical is actually still active.
Wow.
Quick fix will shut it down, and it will take the artificial pigment out that didn't attach to anything. So that's how you're going to get that slight shift. And the cool thing about all these products, you cannot cause damage. You cannot overdo it. You could use them daily if you chose to. So, and we actually
there's no ammonia, there's no any kind of chemical that is changing the chemistry of the hair. Yeah.
No.
So to use all of these, it's a dry powder in there, right? We're going to open it up and we're going to just pour it into our hand and emulsify with water, correct?
Yep, add a little bit of water and it'll mix into like a paste. Some of them, when you put them in the hair, and as we go through, I'll tell you which ones do it. They do have some surfactant in it, so they will suds up. Other ones don't, and there's specific reasons for that. But just know that the base of all of them is vitamin C, so no damage.
So if you think about vitamin C, when you know you have a good pure form, so if you see vitamin C in the liquid form and after time, once you open it up, it turns yellow. That means it's starting to go bad and not be as active. And so that's
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Not be as active, because people think, so as vitamin C lives its life, it turns into caramel, turns a caramel color.
Right.
So it turns into sugar. So if you're using a vitamin C product that starts out that yellow or amber, then I personally would question how much vitamin C is actually active.
Right.
With any of our treatments, if you mix them up, eventually they will turn yellow and amber as well, because it is pure vitamin C. So it's not that it's going to quit working when it hits that point. It's just not as effective as fresh.
And it's not that it's bad or rotten or anything like that. It's just not as active. It's not as potent in its pure raw form.
Right. Absolutely.
So our quick fix, we love this. This is definitely to kind of quick fix. So you put in a blue, just toner or anything like that. It's just going to kind of reset that color and take out maybe any over color that you didn't want in there. Or if you let your kid go pink for a few days and then they got to go back to church, or like my girlfriend, she let her son go blue and then found out he was going to be in a wedding. They weren't very happy. So that's how that happened. So the next one over to me is the Malibu Blonde. I love this one, obviously.
Yes.
Reasons I've always been a blonde. I try and go other colors, but I'm kind of a Malibu girl myself. Born and raised California here, so. Who needs these Malibu Blondes, and when should you use them?
Okay, so with any of these treatments that you see down here, these are considered maintenance products. So it's kind of like, and I described it to you, when you have a full treatment done, one of the Malibu C crystal gels in the salon, that's removing everything. That's like going to the dentist and getting a deep clean. These guys are like brushing your teeth at home. It's important that you do it, and it's just going to keep the mineral at bay. So people go, well, if I already took it out, how does it get back in? Well, every time water touches your hair, it gets back in. So for the blondes especially, you mentioned your highlights disappearing. So the reason blondes start to see that is actually because calcium's building up in the hair. Calcium doesn't reflect light, it absorbs it, which makes the hair look darker. So that's a perfect example of why you would use the Malibu Blondes. You have a lot of dimension in your blonde, and you want to keep that as well.
The lights and darks, yes.
Yeah. Doing the Malibu Blondes weekly, that's going to help keep just your porosity equalized, everything looking fresh like it did when you got your hair first done. So anybody, and it doesn't matter what type of blonde. So don't think just because I'm a warm blonde, I can't use it, I have to be a cool blonde. It's all blondes, whether it's artificial or natural.
So I'll use this blonde for porosity and for, it removes the brassiness and some of the minerals from the hair. But should I go and use too much purple shampoo, I could go back to this one, right? Yep. If I start to get that purple look. Allison was asking, can I use this to remove my over purple on my blonde? And that was a great question. That's exactly what the quick fix would be used for, is if you've used purple too much, got some purple on your ends, as opposed to this is kind of more maintenance. You wouldn't use this to get the purple out.
You could use any of the packets because of the vitamin C, but that's not what it was intended for. So the result's not going to be the same. You can still absolutely try it and use it. I always say that some Malibu is better than no Malibu. So if you're a blonde and you have a swimmer's packet, but you're not swimming at the moment, you don't have a blonde, that's okay. As long as you're using a vitamin C treatment, that's the important part.
And with the blondes, I love this because actually it comes with a whole setup, right? A whole kit. We've got the shampoo, the conditioner. So these are great kits that we have. And you can get the shampoo, the conditioner, and 4 packets of the blondes if you want to try those blonde packets with your shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah, and this is a great, like when you look at the kit itself, it's geared to be a month's worth of supply. So you're looking at the 4 packets for the 4 weeks in a month.
Once a week, okay.
Yeah, and the cool thing about our shampoo, our blonde shampoo and conditioner, the Blonde Wellness, it is a violet base, but it is not intended to tone. Okay. It's intended to enhance. So for our stylist friends, if they're looking for something really heavy to tone those blondes out, this is not going to be what they want. If they want something that's just going to keep the blonde beautiful, this is exactly what they want.
So maintenance, it's one of those ones that you can use daily or your every other day. Most of us wash our hair every other day unless you got those great shortcuts. Those sometimes you can wash more often. But this to blow dry every day, I don't do that. But that's great to know that, because I am not I'm not a big purple shampoo user because I don't end up. When you're a stylist and you try and tone with shampoos, you see such intricacies of the exact tone you're trying to achieve, and it can be hard. So that makes your shampoo very safe.
Yeah, definitely.
Ms. is saying, I love these little packets. Easily the most helpful product in the salon. Which of these helps with buildup on the hair the most?
Build up as far as mineral or surface, because those are 2 different things.
Right. Build up as far as either your minerals, which that kind of leads us to the next one, our hard water wellness, right? So we'll just assume that if it was the mineral buildup, then we'd go on to the hard water wellness, right?
Right. So if you're talking surface buildup, you would go with our Undo Goo shampoo.
Okay.
That's only going to remove the resins on the surface. It's not going to strip the hair.
Good, because she did say product. Yeah, okay.
There you go.
Undo Goo.
Undo Goo. So when you're looking at that, there's a huge negative connotation with a clarifying shampoo because people think that it's going to dry your hair out, it's going to be damaged. And since you brought up pH, this is a perfect time to talk about the Undo Goo. It's got a pH of 9.
Wow.
Why people care is because that's only going to remove the surface stuff. It's not going to go into the inside. So basically what you're doing is you're removing the styling product so your vitamin C can do what it needs to do.
Okay.
So think of those going hand in hand. But you're absolutely right. Go to the hard water. Hard water is one of our best selling products because a lot of people, that's the only thing they really know about their water is that it's hard. So it's an easy go-to, and it's a good anybody, everybody treatment. It's
now,
not
hard
just
water means a lot of minerals, right? Is that what hard water means?
Yeah, you have a lot of minerals, and it could be dependent on what type of minerals that you have going on in there. But you can usually tell if your skin is dry, if even your body wash doesn't lather, your shampoo doesn't lather. That usually means you've got a coating of something going on. So yeah, hard water is just an easy one. You can grab it at any time.
It reminds me of one of my friends who always refers to the shampoo effect, where you shampoo it the first time and it's just kind of bleh, and you feel like, I don't feel like I even got bubbles out of that. And then the next time, once you've got that first layer off, the next time your shampoo goes, right, and you got all these bubbles everywhere. So hard water also comes in the full kit. Mm-hmm. The month's supply. So you have the shampoo and the conditioner. Is this kind of an everyone shampoo? So just I want to go back to kind of traditional brands that we talk about, either color or volume or moisture and that kind of stuff. These shampoos are more for conditions on the hair, but they're good for any hair density or any hair texture, correct? They can be used across the board.
Yeah, one of the things we say here is we play nice with everybody, and that means other brands, all textures, all colors. When I describe hard water to my clients, I literally just say this is a good anybody, everybody shampoo. So if you have a guess, so we get the question, if I'm a blonde, but I have hard water,
right,
which one do I go with?
Right.
And my answer is both, because you can alternate if you choose to. So it just really go for what is the most important to you at the time.
I just told my grandmother this last night when she told me she hasn't even opened her shampoo from Christmas that I gave her. I'm like, Grandma, you can have 2 shampoos in your shower. We can alternate between. I want to say hi to Brandy, Tammy, Peyton, Becky, Emily. Thank you all for joining us. Let us know where you're coming from. Throw us some questions here. So hard water and blondes, anyone can use hard water, but if you have blonde hair and you want to maintain the tone, then maybe one day use the hard water so that you get a nice, the minerals off. The next day use your blonde, so then the toning takes very evenly and not in spots where your hair is more porous and stuff like that, or has more buildup. So that makes a lot of sense. Now we're on to the next cute little packet here, which is I'm holding it right over it, the Miracle Repair. And this one is a little different because it doesn't feel like powder. It's a liquid inside. What's going on here?
Okay, so that is your protein reconstructor. So the most important thing with protein is to understand, is it plant-based or is it animal-based? Because if it's animal-based, it'll actually build up on itself and it creates a cast that will dehydrate the hair. Miracle Repair, it's plant-based. It's positively charged, which why somebody would care about that is because minerals are electronically charged as well. So if you have negative hair and a positive mineral, they're going to attach, right? Well, when you take that mineral out of the hair, you created a pothole. Now you need something that goes back in there. That's where Miracle Repair comes into play.
Love that. Giving you the even porosity.
Yes. And it can't build up on itself. So it only goes where the hair needs it and the rest goes away. So that one's really important. You can use that weekly too. And again, it can't build up. So some people do like it as their daily conditioner. I use it more as a reconstructor.
Miracle Repair, a plant-based protein, very flexible, won't create any kind of brittle hair. Emily is saying, I have the hard water, Swimmer's Wellness, and Miracle Repair all in my shower, and I use them all. Nice. So Miracle Repair is kind of in a few of the little kits. This one, our next one is Color Prepare, and you and I talked that a little bit before. This is like every hairdresser's best friend, and if it's not your best friend yet, you better add her to your tribe because you need her, right?
You do. You so need her. And even if you're doing hair at home, because I mean, the reality is, it's going to happen. People are going to do their color however they're going to get their color. So what Color Prepare does is the same concept, takes off the surface minerals so that way your color can apply easier, get deeper in the hair shaft, and then your results are going to be better. It'll be shinier, your color's going to last longer, and it's going to be more even. So for me, as a colorist, if you didn't do this before your color appointment, I was doing it for you in the salon, but it was a necessity. It was a do not pass go if you didn't have a Malibu.
Because it really does give you that canvas to provide the best color treatment for your client. And so if you're a consumer at home that goes to the salon, or if you're trying to, fix your hair because your salon's not open yet or whatever, but mainly if you're a consumer going to the salon and you know that your hair fades and you know that your hair has trouble covering gray and you know all of these different things about your hair, and your hairdresser's tried many different things, maybe they haven't tried this. So that's just a great thing because it's a great help for your hairdresser at the salon also. If you do this at home the night before, you're providing her with the best canvas to do her work on. Or her work. Yes.
It makes it so much easier. And to go on the gray coverage, especially if you're coloring your hair at home, you guys, if your gray is covering everywhere except right here, start thinking about what you're putting on your face. If you're using a mineral-based makeup or mineral-based skincare, minerals are magnetically charged. They're going to gravitate towards the hair. So start paying attention to where the gray is getting difficult for you.
Holy moly, I just had a light bulb moment. I mean, with all of these
Yeah,
mineral cosmetics, I never even thought of that. That probably does connect and build up on the hair as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because I mean, it is a magnetic connection, so there is
Right.
no stopping it. It's going to happen. So don't stop using your favorite facial care. Use the
Mineral
Malibu
cosmetics
before
are
you do your color.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, they really are. Just make sure they're not inhibiting your color.
Right. And this is, I mean, that's honestly, we're talking about you go every 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks to do your hair color.
Yep.
But, and so it's not, even a big process. If you just have these around to do it right before you're going to do your hair color, you'll just ensure you aren't missing places,
Right.
or, and it sucks because it is right where everyone sees it, right?
Yeah, always, like right here, always.
I have one of my best friends. Hi, Darren. Hopefully she's watching, but she always is complaining about that. And I never even thought of mineral makeup. But she says, I can go to the hair salon and it could be 4 or 5 days because she has a dark level 5 color. That she gets great coverage for only like 4 or 5 days, and then things start popping through. And maybe that could be a reason, or that it definitely is worth the shot.
Well, yeah, because the color can't get as deep as it needs to go. The other thing to watch too is your clients who wear glasses. If they have metal frames right here above the ear, that's going to be a little bit harder to cover too. And it's strictly because the frames are metal. So there's going to be a chemical reaction.
Yeah.
That
is so fascinating, Missy. Thank you. That is great
You're
education
welcome.
right there. We're all learning something today, or maybe you guys are smarter than me, but I'm learning something today, and I've been a hairdresser for over 25 years. So good stuff here. So the next one we're going to talk about is relaxer, and this one's kind of new, I think, right?
Well, that one it's not one that's talked about a whole lot, because when people are talking about shampooing their hair and shampooing it frequently, usually clients who are getting relaxers, they're not as frequent of shampooers. So then it becomes, okay, well, what happens? One of the things that our chemist says is anytime you are doing any kind of treatment, whether it be a relaxer, a perm, a color, your scalp should not tingle or burn or itch. If it does, there's a chemical reaction going on. Well, the chemical reaction is not necessarily from the product alone. It's from the oxidative product reacting to the minerals
that are already on your hair.
Yeah, that are already there.
Right.
So when you're looking at getting a relaxer, I recommend it to my clients, come get the packet the last time you shampoo before your next relaxer. Don't do it right before, because you don't want to aggravate the scalp at all with a relaxer. So same kind of concept, just not as frequently as if somebody shampooed every day.
And would that be the same as a smoothing treatment?
Similar.
Okay. I mean,
similar.
like, would you use relaxer before a smoothing treatment as well? Okay.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So looking at changing the texture, I'm glad you brought that up. Looking at changing the texture of the hair, that would be that, or curl partner are where you would want to go.
Great. So our next one is Color Lock. And this one is also a squishy. It's not a powder. It's more of a mask kind of in there. And what we're using this obviously post color?
Yeah, so Color Lock has a Color Lock technology in it. So what it's going to do is, the cool thing about it is not only is it going to lock it in, but it's water soluble technology, so it can't build up on the hair. So if you are, like a weekly shampooer, if you used Color Lock, the color is going to be protected from the lock technology, just from the environments, period, until you shampoo the next time, and then you're going to use it again. So it's a really cool product. We definitely recommend it for anyone who's got color treated hair, and it comes in our Hydrate Color Wellness Kit.
Right, I love that kit. So is that the Hydrate one? That's Swimmer's Wellness. Oh, that is the right one?
No, that is the Color Wellness, but that was the previous.
Right.
The previous one. So the new one comes with the Color Lock in it.
Right. That's what I was saying. So we just still had that one going. So you can get the Color Lock, the shampoo conditioner with these now.
Yes.
And then we have weaves and extensions. A lot of girls out there are still doing the extensions in their hair. How does this help them?
Same kind of thing. And anytime you're doing extensions, whether they're synthetic or human, they've been chemically treated. So you want to make sure that you can remove that chemical before you do anything with it, especially if you are coloring or toning your extensions. And people who have especially if they're sewn in, they're shampooing their extensions the same way they're shampooing their hair. So if water is affecting the natural hair, it's gonna affect your extensions. So what I found as a stylist is I'm able to help clients, their extensions last longer, because if you remove it, you can treat it with the extension packet, and it's going to remove that mineral buildup just like it would if it were on your natural hair.
Wonderful. And you spend a lot of money on getting those extensions in, and you end up wearing them for a long time. So it makes sense to, one, prepare them before you put them in and make sure they're in the best condition that possible before they're sewn to your head. And then once they're in your head, you need to take care of them so you don't have to keep removing them and putting them back in and getting them in that great condition.
Right.
So the next one is probably, I think, one of your signature products, the Swimmer's Wellness. And this, of course, love that, right? The turquoise one right underneath Missy's face there. Thank you, Vanna. And so this also comes in the full kit. And we couldn't have got through years of swimming without this because my little blondie babies turned green.
Yes.
What can you tell us about Swimmer's Wellness?
Okay, perfect. So I'm hopefully going to blow your mind with this too. A lot of times with swimmers especially, first of all, the texture of their hair is a little bit different because they're in chlorinated or salt water all the time. When people's hair turns green, they always say, oh my God, I have chlorine buildup, the chlorine turned my hair green. Chlorine does not ever, under any circumstances, turn the hair green. It's a bleach. Chlorine's a bleach. What's turning the hair green is the copper sulfide in the water, which is an algicide. It keeps algae from being able to grow. Well, think of the Statue of Liberty. It's made out of copper, but what color is it?
It's green.
It's green. Same concept. The copper oxidized. So there you go.
I love these things.
What you're doing with the swimmers, because their hair is in an oxidizer all the time, they need extra moisture. The other thing with the swimmers is you have to think with being in that water, your hair is the cleanest out of everybody because you're in a bleach bath every time.
You're swimming in bleach all the time.
You know? So it needs a little help. It needs some extra moisture, some polypots in there. So the swimmer's line is a great line for anybody that's in water. And don't think that it has to mean that you're a swimmer. Like if you're going on vacation or you're just in a hot tub, I mean, anytime you're in heavily chlorinated water.
Or you're just a floater, like me.
You're a floater. Me too. I'm not a swimmer. I'm a floater. That's awesome.
We have more in common.
Say, Tom, we need a floater line.
Yes. Swimmers or floaters can use this
Yes.
if you're just around chlorine a lot or water that's treated. That's so fascinating. We've all thought chlorine is what turns your hair green. And it makes so sense that it's the minerals and the oxidation of the orange that's going green. And that, so many years I never even thought of it.
That was one of my favorite tips.
It's a crazy, that is awesome. And we have this whole month supply kit. So if you want to try it, what is the shampoo doing also? It's just also helping remove those impurities.
Yeah, it's going to help remove the impurities, but it's also going to help smooth some things down. It's a really nice light shampoo because with the swimmer, you don't need to heavily, emulsify. You don't want to change the texture. So it's just a really good light.
Your hair's already so clean. It needs some more moisture and love, right?
Yes. So swimmers is just a nice light system.
For those girls that are constantly in water and probably don't need to shampoo too much anyhow, but you just need to get that chlorine out of your hair gently. And so Swimmer's Wellness.
Right. We're working with Jess Parado, who is an Olympic swimmer. And it just so happened that she's been using Malibu since she was 10 and would go into the salon and they would tell her she was getting a mineral treatment, but she never knew that it was Malibu. So once she asked, it's just one of those things. A lot of people have grown up using Swimmer's Wellness.
And maybe didn't even know it, right?
Yeah, like they didn't know why. They just knew Malibu was who you went to for swimmers.
You guys, this is such a cool, it's been around since 1985, and it just feels so progressive and so forward thinking. Like, how did Tom and Deb think of all of this way back then? I love this brand. So we have just 2 more packets left. We're coming to the end. We have our curl partner.
Okay. So that guy is for anybody who is dealing with any kind of curl texture, whether it's natural or created with a perm. What that does is minerals affect curly hair a little bit differently because their cuticles sit like this, right?
Right.
So as the cuticle opens because of the curve, minerals can get in there a little bit deeper. Well, rocks are heavy. Normally, your curly girls, it's flat here. You've got curl in the middle, and down here is doing this. Like, it's just not happy. So
they're like, I want all of this there.
Everywhere.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So use the Curl Partner packet, and you're going to get curls. It's going to take the rocks out so your curls can bounce back up. That's also a great pre-treat. Just like Color Prepare is pre for color, this is pre for perm.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
And I know so many curly girls out there that need this because they don't even recognize. A lot of them think, oh, I just need a haircut, or I just need, my curls just changed as I got older, or hormones affect my curls. Girls, it could just be rocks. It could just be the rocks in your curls, right? So you need to get the rocks out with our Curl Partner. And then the next one, of course, we can't talk about hair and hair care without talking about the scalp. And the scalp is so important. You know, like I said, you are a skincare company as well as a hair care company now. We've got some amazing skincare products that we'll talk about on another show because they happen to be some of my favorites. But the scalp therapy, we need to talk about that one. And that one is a whole kit also.
Yeah, so that one is a great one for any condition that you've got going on. Actually, it was created, Tom himself has some scalp issues. So this was created in response to that. So anyone dealing with it, we can never say that we heal things, but anybody who's dealing with dandruff, psoriasis, eczema, anything that's going on the scalp, this is going to be a great friend for them. The other thing that I personally used it for, one of my sons, his shoulders would break out. He had body acne, but he didn't have it on his face. So I'm like, okay, that's not normal. Well, the minerals were depositing in his follicles. So it was breaking his skin out. He started using the Scalp Wellness as a body wash.
Wow.
So think of it as it truly does help hair, skin, and scalp.
I have my daughter was a gymnast for years, and I think just from wearing the leotards that are the racer back right here, she constantly had breakouts that she was struggling with because it was just moist a lot. And so something like this that just does a good deep clean, that's interesting. If you want to try that before you go to the dermatologist or something like that, this a gentle way to address that. You mentioned, so we do have the scalp therapy wellness and a whole shampoo, conditioner, also kit. It comes in the nice packet kits. And then, so just a really quick wrap up, we do want to talk that you have some great skincare products. I know Tobin put together a cute graphic of all of our kits. You have quite a few products that address eczema, and we have eczema in our family. It runs in our family. So any of those people struggling, you might want to check more into that, but hopefully we'll get Missy back to get a little in-depth because they've got facial cleansers and treatments and Vital Cream, who's amazing. I love your B5 face and body mist. The sprayer, I can't live without that through my summers. It's on my boat, and yeah, that's an amazing product. So check out their sensitivity or all of their skincare products. You can see more about those on Beauty Care Choices and at Malibu C. Missy, what did we forget? Anything else on our hair care brands that we wanted to talk about?
I think just keeping in mind that, it is vitamin C based, that it really is solution based too. And we function on hype, not hype, science. So we're never going to tell you something does something if it doesn't actually do it. And I'm the worst critic ever. So when we say it helps with scalp, it truly does help with scalp. So no, I think we've done a good job of the overview of what Malibu C offers. And with the vitamin C, you guys, if you understand the vitamin C from the hair care, the reason the skincare happened is because stylists told Tom, you've got skincare because of the vitamin C. So same vitamin C technology, but we can get into that at a different time.
Yeah, and I can't express enough that Malibu, there's wellness in almost every product name because it's all
Yes.
about wellness. It's about taking action and taking ownership to what you're putting on your body and learning a little bit more about these ingredients help you feel really good and comfortable with putting it on your body.
Right.
I don't want to go off really quick because you guys came out with a super cool product. You always had the vitamin C shaker, the Inside Out product, and now you came out with the C shaker that has zinc in it.
Yes.
Amazing. I mean, we did a whole email series on this because I loved your email series on it also. You can sprinkle this on your fruits and vegetables for preserving. You can sprinkle it in water for extra vitamin C and immunity and zinc boosters. What else can you do with this product?
The other thing, two of my granddaughters have eczema. My daughter-in-law sprinkles this in the bath because it'll neutralize the chlorine that aggravates their eczema. So anywhere water's involved, this is going to go in, whether it's surface or internal. Travel with this. Anytime you're at a restaurant and you have water, sprinkle it in there. It's great for everything.
It's almost like a water purifying system right in your purse that you can just, they say, do you want the expensive bottled water? Or no, I can have the tap because I got my sea shaker with me, right?
Right. See, that's how our team stays healthy as much as we travel and teach. It truly is because of the vitamin C technology that we are always in. So yeah, the whole education team travels with the Inside Out or now the sea shaker in their bag because we're in so many different water climates, I guess. So yeah, that's a great one to have.
I've seen probably at least 30 articles from all the different sources that I read in beauty, from trade magazines to fashion magazines, but everyone agrees the ingredient of the summer is vitamin C. I think we're all learning every day how important this is to our systems and how many benefits it gives us. So it's definitely something to look into if you're not using vitamin C in your beauty regimens and in your vitamin regimens, something you should definitely look into.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So who needs Malibu? Anybody who showers with water needs Malibu.
Everybody. Everybody.
So if you guys want to hear or connect with Missy and learn more, it's at Malibu C Pro. You can connect with them on their social media channels. You can also learn more here at Beauty Care Choices. All of our people answering the phones are licensed stylists that learn and are kind of nerdy like us.
I love that.
That's the crew we attract here. We like the educated ingredient nerds. So that's our team. Missy, thank you so much for coming to us from Indianapolis today and sharing. You were a wealth of information and I learned so much today. So
thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to have been on with you. So we'll talk again. We'll talk skincare.
We definitely need to have you back for skincare soon. Thank you so much and have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too. Bye everybody. Thank you so much.
She was amazing. Wasn't she great? I so many things I have never even heard of or thought of and been doing hair for a long time. So if you guys want to know more about Malibu C, or if you want to talk to somebody on the phone, our numbers are right below. If you want to get notified of future shows, click the bell at the top and you'll get notifications on what's coming up. Allison's been doing an amazing job trying to let people know in advance what shows are coming up so you can kind of see if it's a topic you're interested in. But we're always interested in clean, vegan, cruelty-free brands that are not just providing a beauty cosmetic treatment, but also wrapped in wellness and good ingredients for our skin and for our body. We're taking it a step further from just, we want to keep all the harmful ingredients out, but we also would like to add in, and these are vitamin infused, nutrient rich products, and so forward thinking of Tom and Deb Porter. So thanks for creating these products, guys, and you couldn't be coming to us from a more beautiful place in Malibu. So everybody have a great weekend and we will see you next week. Bye for now.